Good morning, everybody. It's Corporal G here at the COC in Kentucky. Today I'm going to show you one of my armies that I painted. It's going to be Japan. I don't have their Navy painted, but I do have all their ground, their infantry, most of their airplanes or Air Force. And so here we go. So on my table, we have all these drawers down here. Except for the end, we got to build one more. The 6 drawers that we had, that used to fit on the old 4x8 table. But now, we can have 7 on each side. Total of 14 on one side. So here's the trays that I have. Built it real cheap. It is pretty time consuming though, but all it is just poster paper and some white core foam, I believe it's called, from dollar store. You can get one sheet for $1. Real cheap, real easy to cut. It makes it real simple. I didn't want to do any wood because that would take forever. So something cheap, something that we know we can take pieces out and adjust to new units that might come out. As you can see, it kind of creeps in there. Those units you really don't reach. You know, you got your super heavy tanks, your tank destroyers. These are just special vehicle units that Japan doesn't really have any, so that's just a miscellaneous box. We got some seaplanes down here, but I kind of want to get some different ones for Japan. You got your Navy. It's kind of organized. Start with your facilities. Eventually we'll 3D print some naval ports and bases and the air base, submarine bases and seaplane bases. So hopefully we can get that squared away. But here it is. Now I'm going to pause the video real quick, bring some of these pieces out, and you guys can see them up close. Alright, be right back. Alright, and we're back. So first off, we'll start with the facilities and everything. As you can see, we made our roundels a little smaller. There's the out of box from Axis and Allies. The only reason they're a 1/2 inch, probably somewhat tall. It's really easy to grab compared to this one. But on the 4x8 map, they did fit perfectly, but this new one, they're a little small. But it's also good because it doesn't take up much space. All you do is, kind of like our infantry bases over here, you just take a roundel off the internet, go to Microsoft Paint, and just make them a 1/2 inch. And sometimes you gotta do a little trial and error, so only print one off at a time, so you get the right distance, or the right size I mean. Then print them out. You get a 1/2 inch hole puncher, because that makes it way easier than just using scissors. Cut them out, then glue it right on there. And all the roundels are red, so when we do have it upside down, we know that's a place where we're attacking. And if we take it, we flip it, and change the income tracker. But just use super glue to hold it on there. Do not do what I originally did. You can probably get a good one right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, come on. Oh, that's light. There's a little haze on that. That's because I laminated it. And when the glue dried, it made that weird look to it. I heard I can just get some super glue removal and it'll come right off. Haven't tried it yet. Haven't bought any. So I can let you guys know that later. But you do not need to laminate these roundels at all. The glue won't smear it. The glue won't make the ink rub or anything. Just print it off, cut them out, super glue them right on top. Then we got all these facilities. Here's our fortifications from Axis and Allies D-Day. I made a crap ton of these. As you can see, there's some I made some molds. Really easy to make one-piece mold, just gotta buy the right stuff. Hopefully in a later video I can let you see that. And you got the coastal artillery from Historical Board Game. Painted them all orange so everyone kind of knows. My goal is to get 10 of every unit at least, except for like normal infantry. I got 40 of those painted up. Scoot on up here. Then we got our facilities, obviously from Historical Board Game. Minor, medium, major. Trying to get 10 of those each too, just so you just have enough. Now also we got these stars, and I got a question for you guys. You guys can help me out. The veterans for Japan and Russia, I believe, after a battle. I don't think that's in the V3 rules, but someone can explain that to me. That'll be beneficial. But I did get these from Historical Board Game when they did, because I watched General Hand Grenade. If a unit gets upgraded, I got one of those for them. Alright, moving on. We'll just take all those off. Next, our infantry. As you can see, we got militia. Nicely painted and marked. I got these from a board game called Singapore, I believe. Really good pieces. They helped me make a Japanese militia, Australian infantry, no, Australian militia, and also I think Canadian militia too. Came up with some really good, nice pieces. Moving on to infantry. And we got 40 of these. Get a better lighting here. There we go. 40 of these. Now you can see that weird glue scheme on there. Not the best, but I can probably clean it up later. So here's the infantry. Try and get that little yellow star on their helmet, just with a little dot. Doesn't have to be pretty. Made a little flame out of some cotton balls. So how I paint these is I just paint them up. These are one of my first guys that I painted, so they're not the best. Paint the colors, you know, do the gear, the clothing. Then I did the sired blood trick. Just get some wood stain, dip them in there, take it off, let them dry for a long time. Then I put that flat or clear coat. I need to do a flat coat, but I always try to do a nice clear glossy finish because I heard that protects miniatures better than flat coat. So I always do a gloss coat, then I finish off with a matte or a satin finish, depending on how the unit looks. Moving on up, we got our mountain, which represents gray. And again, like I said in my first video, we ain't playing with mountains this time, but we got them ready. And we have played with them, it's just kind of confusing, we always forget about it, so might as well have fun. And these are just straight out of the box. Most of the nations are Axis and Allies out of the box for mountain. Moving on to airborne, we got some historical board game pieces, some custom pieces painted here. Trying to do a little different scheme. Their pants are black. I just looked on Google most of the time. Some of them got their leather caps on, as you can see. Some have helmets. And we actually got these backwards. These are from Historical Board Game. These are the Marines. Painting them just like the infantry. Keeping them simple. And the SNLF Marines are just a little bit different. I saw this camouflage pattern on Google. I really think these are the para-marine camouflage. Could be mistaken. I don't know. I thought it was cool. So I just made a little batch of them. They turned out real nice. And that's the matte finish on these pieces. With a gloss coat under them. So as you can see, you don't have to worry about being too glossy. And we're going to move up to some ground units. I got a little error on that one. Completely missed the footage on the artillery pieces. So here's the just normal artillery. Didn't use the out-of-box ones. I didn't like how the wheels just were just simple. But I did find a cool trick that I might show you guys later. Cut off the wheels. Add the artillery wheels from the Dutch artillery. Make some molds. And the reason I haven't done that because it takes a long time to cut those out-of-box wheels from the Japan's artillery. But here's a camo scheme. And I don't know if I put it in the other videos, but when you paint yellow, you gotta put a tan or a khaki underlayer under it because yellow is so transparent. It doesn't go, and you gotta do a crap ton of coats. These are going straight yellow. But just use that little trick, and you might only need 1 or 2 coats of that yellow that you want to use. I didn't use the bright one, didn't like it too much, so I dulled it just a little bit down. Same thing with the anti-aircraft guns. All the same, 1940. Maxes and allies. Again, bottoms don't matter. For me, anyway. We got our heavy artillery. Since Japan doesn't have any, I just use the German ones. Come out pretty clean. I like them. Then you get your self-propelled artillery from a historical board game. There's the bottoms. And these pieces I really like from the America board game. I think that's the deck right there, so that's why I painted the deck color. I don't paint the windshields or anything until I find a good idea. Either make them black. I don't want to do the blue windscreen because that kind of looks generic. We'll figure something out. I believe I missed the light armor on the tank section. Here's light armor. Again, from historical board gaming. Later when I do paint tutorials, I will tell you which kind of paints I use. But the paints I do use are a little expensive. I do use Vallejo. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Real good. They last you forever. Just the money's worth it for it. Other than that, let's get back to the rest of the armor. It's your medium armor. Same concept. These came from America, I believe, and those probably came from America as well. Or historical board game. Same thing. And we got our tank destroyers. Pretty easy spot with that weird looking turret. And then we got our heavy tanks. These came from America. And these are those super huge ones. I didn't put any decals on this one because I might put their flag on this one to distinguish that these are like super, super heavy tanks. Kind of like that E100 for Germany. Alright, we'll move on here. Our last one for today. Alright, so we got air transports. Again, no decals because I'm trying to make them stick out a little differently than everything else. Just recently painted these biplanes, or early war fighters. They kind of look black on that one. They're a real dark green. You'd probably find a better one. Got our fighters here. Naval fighters, just in case. The Army fighters. Came out pretty slick, and they all have the magnets in the bottom, as you can see. And we have a metal sheet under here, so they stick pretty well. They fit perfectly on a flight stand that we made. Again, a half magnet that you can get at Walmart. Little bracelet bead right there. And some wood that I also got from Walmart, real cheap. And those magnets on top. Fit pretty good on there. On there, so you don't have to worry about them tipping over all the time. Kind of just rebound. Not all the time. And those aside. We get our tactical bombers. Again, same concept. It's kind of hard to find this specific grain for Japan. That yellow stripe's kind of hard to do, make it all clean and nice. Try to get a little variety on the tails here. And of course, the awesome jet fighters, which everyone tries to get. These came out pretty clean. Alright. Then we have our bombers. And the way I try to distinguish ours is medium bombers have 2 engines, strategic bombers have 4, and the heavy ones either have 6 or they have the jet engines on there. Something that's kind of unique to them. And I'm thinking for the strategic bomb heavy ones, put the flag on there on one of the wings with the roundels. So medium bombers, pretty decent. Again, not too worried about the bottoms. No one's really gonna see that, so don't kill yourself over it. Strategic, I did some whites. I saw some on Google Images. Some were white, so I painted them. Have a little bit of variety. Bring these back up. And then there's our heavy ones. And this paint for this one is real thin, so you gotta do a lot of coats. Sometimes it doesn't come out very clean. You can see those streaks. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. That's it for Japan at the moment. Don't have their naval ships painted. As you can see, they're all just orange. Spray paint orange, out of box orange. Different shades of that pumpkin orange. Alright, but I believe my next video, I'm going to be painting for you guys a basic German infantry. So I feel like that is the most requested every single time I go on YouTube on how to paint that one. It's the most popular, it seems like. So we'll knock that one out. Hopefully be very educational for you guys. It's not advanced or anything like that. Well, it's definitely a base to start at. Other than that, I have nothing for you guys. See you next time. Catch you later.